Presenting Benny Goodman and his music.
There we go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Sarah, Mona, and Jean. Hey, Dina. Hey, Denise. Hey, Carolyn. Yep, Kathy, I'm home today. I gotta work outside this afternoon. So, I gotta at least make 2 trips. You know. Hey, Betsy. Hey, Karen. Hey, Eric and Carol. Hey, Betsy. Hey, Todd and Cindy. I'm indoors for now. I gotta go run a boat tour at noon and then a ghost tour tonight. So, it's a busy day. And I really hate running boat tours when it's hot outside. Just really hate it.
First of all, one of Irving Berlin's greatest hits, Blue Skies.
Hey, Vicky. Hey, Denise. Kristen, indeed. At least by time for the ghost tour, it should have cooled off a bit, I think. I gotta arrange some parking for that. I'm trying to figure out right now if I'm gonna stay downtown all day or come home and have a shower in between or what. Hey, Lisa, that's odd. You might want to try turning your notifications off and then back on. That's the main thing that you can do. Hey, Phoenix, I got a thing of Gatorade and a can of Liquid Death. No, Kathy, I am not going to Arkansas. Not even if there's a Bob Dylan concert there. Gary, if you're not getting notifications, turn your notifications off and then back on. That's been happening to people lately. Hey, Larry. I sometimes get people off and on. I don't have anything to do with the notifications. There's no boxes that I tick or anything. Hey, Wendy. We'll give it a minute. I know a lot of people are not getting notifications. That just kind of happens. Yeah, if you're not getting notifications, turn your notifications off and then back on. Yeah, Gary, I'm trying really hard not to. At least I'm only doing 1 tour. Now, these poor guys on like working for Shoreline and stuff are doing 3 or 4 of them in this kind of weather. Yes, Maria, why don't you all blame me about the notifications? That tends to be what people do. I'll post a thing in a minute. So I also gotta mention, hey, Boat Tour 2 is up. Hey, Steven, over on YouTube. Kind of the upside of working from home is that I can also broadcast to YouTube and Twitch and all of those. But I'll give it just a minute. Let everybody else figure out the notifications thing. Let Benny keep playing a minute here. Morning, Steve. Over 100 for the rest of the month. Ugh. I'd just be staying in the AC today if I hadn't foolishly agreed to these tours. But mostly, I stick with these boat ones just kind of so I can kind of maintain a good relationship with the boats and stay in practice.
Alan Ward singing With All My Heart.
We'll give it a minute or so. Hey, Laura. Yeah, it's one of those days with notifications. This happens sometimes. I'll try to go into my settings or something and see if I can figure something out. But I'm also going to post some stuff. So I'm going to pause the Benny. I'll tell you guys what I've been up to since it is very cold. Oh, hey, Cassidy. Since it is very cold, well, for one thing, over on the Patreon, I posted a picture of a coyote in the snow. And today I've been doing some research that's kind of blowing up on Twitter for me. Is 1855, there was a huge snowstorm. The state legislature had to meet to elect who the senator was going to be, because in those days the state legislators picked the senator. But there was a massive snowstorm, and everybody coming into Chicago from Chicago to Springfield got stuck in the snow. Massive drifts downstate, 6 miles from the nearest farmhouse. Some people were able to walk 13 miles to get to Pontiac, but most people ended up just kind of sitting on the trains, hoping they didn't starve to death, and hoping they could get to Springfield in time for the vote. This was the days Senator Douglas had just put out the Kansas-Nebraska bill. The state legislature was fracturing. It looked like they ought to be able to get an anti-Nebraska bill senator elected. Abraham Lincoln was trying very hard to be that one. But there was also some worry that as soon as they got enough people to have a quorum, they might have the vote without everybody present and be able to push a Kansas-Nebraska Act supporting guy onto the Senate. So it was quite a bit of high drama. Plus, there were a whole lot of cast of characters. Isaac Newton Arnold was on the train. Dr. Charles Volney Dyer was on the train because Charles Volney Dyer, the Forrest Gump of Chicago history, was basically everywhere all the time. Meanwhile, Owen Lovejoy, the abolitionist, was down in the state legislature. Lincoln was plodding away and trudging through the snow around his house to buy a shawl. It's one great story after another that really has kind of gotten lost in the sands of time. There's a lot of stories going around about how Lincoln narrowly missed being elected senator, having to throw all his support over to Lyman Trumbull instead, but the whole thing about the snowstorm and everybody being caught in the snow and having to requisition oysters that really belonged to the governor, and rumors that they were having to eat dogs, which turned out not to be true. Wild story that I'm trying to put together now. There's a lot of stories about the 1855 Senate election, but very few of them mention the snowstorm more than just a little bit in passing. So that's what I've been doing all morning long, is trying to dig up and organize all the sources I can get on that. But really, what we're going to talk about today is, a lot of you were at Mandy's talk last night about the Danse Macabre, the Dance Macabre. This is an old medieval tradition in which people would dress up like death and skeletons, and everybody from the king to the lowest pauper in costume would dance over to the graveyard. It was a reminder that you yourself were going to die. In the 1870s, Camille Saint-Saëns wrote a tone poem, a bit of an orchestra piece about it that became fairly popular. And in 1922, a film version was made, directed by a guy named Dudley Murphy. He was only 24 years old at the time. Later on, he was kind of a music video pioneer. Now, in 1922, very few theaters actually had the means to amplify sound. You would usually just have a guy playing piano along with the silent films. They could synchronize stuff if they wanted to. They just couldn't really amplify it most of the places, and also syncing along was pretty difficult as well. So things that actually connected pre-written music onto a movie would have been very unusual. This thing wouldn't have been able to show very often. But this film actually has a good Chicago connection. Featured dancer here, playing the part of Love. And the three big pieces are Love, Death, and Youth, is Ruth Page, the dancer. Ruth Page would have been fairly earlier in her career at the time. She'd been a Pavlovite dancing with Anna Pavlova before this. She's now at Graceland Cemetery. So yeah, she would have just been in her early 20s. Here she is in 1930 in what basically looks like Queen Amidala to me. But the 6-minute movie is now available. You can get it without too much trouble, and it is also synced properly to the music, which was probably not something a lot of people could manage to see back in 1922. So here, featuring Ruth Page the dancer, here is the 1922 film Danse Macabre by Dudley Murphy, who would later direct a really cool movie with Duke Ellington, The Black and Tan, in 1929. You can get that on YouTube too. All right, Graceland Cemetery's own Ruth Page, part of several of my Graceland Cemetery tours. Really such a cool thing. A lot of people take credit for being the inventor of the music video. It's impossible to pinpoint any single one. As early as like the early 1900s, movie theaters were showing things called illustrated song, where that would be like somebody standing up there and singing while they projected a couple of pictures onto the wall. By 1922, that would be the kind of thing that with different music would pass muster in like early 80s, like Grim Reaper type stuff. So, alright everybody, that was a really cool 6-minute video. If you want to see, Dudley Murphy is an interesting guy. I think there's a lot more to find out about him. I know there is one book about him called, I think, Hollywood Wildcard. In 1929, he did a half-hour movie with Duke Ellington called 1929, which is similarly, there's a plot to it, more so than this one. There's some dialogue scenes, but then also a whole lot of music and dancing that effectively form early music videos. So, everybody, thank you very much. If you, if you missed it, please you can swing over to YouTube, just check out Don's Macabre 1922, Ruth Page 1922, then you'll be able to see it. So sorry again if people aren't getting notifications, there's nothing I do on my end about that. I'm going to put up a post in a few minutes saying if you're not getting them, the thing to do is usually to go into Facebook, turn your notifications off, and then turn them back on again. That's really about all I can tell you. This happens every now and then. We go through these things occasionally. One bit of good news, though. The night boat cruise is on. I got that official confirmation yesterday. Tickets are available. Go to the events page. Go to adamchicago.com. We have also got plenty of tickets available for Saturday at Rose Hill Cemetery. Lots of great stuff coming up. Tomorrow night is going to be the virtual Hyde Park tour, right back here where you are right now. So lots of great stuff coming up. Once again, the 6:30 boat cruise is nearly sold out, though a few people have moved over to the 8:30, so there's a little more space on that one now. And 8:30 is still wide open, but I'm really hoping tickets will go fast. So thanks a lot for joining me, everybody. I am Adam Seltzer for Mysterious Chicago Tours. If you need to move over to the other boat, please email me about it. Don't message me on Facebook. Don't message on Patreon. Email is the way to go here. But once again, thanks a lot for coming by, everybody. I'm going to post a thing on Facebook, hopefully before I leave to do this afternoon really hot boat tour. And just to try to give people the heads up about the notifications. So thanks for joining me. I'm Adam from Mysterious Chicago, saying to stay safe and stay strong. And of course, if you can, everybody, you got to stay spooky. Stay spooky and stay cool.